Picture this scene. An Amish farmhouse at 5 in the morning. January. The world outside is locked in ice. The fire that burned last night has reduced to embers. By every law of thermodynamics, that house should be freezing. The family should wake shivering, rushing to rebuild the fire before the cold becomes dangerous. But that is not what happens. The mother rises in a home that is still comfortable. The children sleep peacefully under quilts that are warm, not desperate barriers against the cold. The father adds a single fresh log to the embers. Within minutes, the house begins warming again. No furnace roaring to life. No backup heating system kicking in. Just one log and a fireplace designed with secrets passed down through generations. What do they know that we have forgotten? What principles of heat and physics have they preserved while we became dependent on systems that fail us every winter? It is a question that haunted me until I found the answers. Tonight I am going to share those answers with you. The Amish fireplace secrets that turn one log into whole house heating. Let us begin. Number 1. The thermal mass principle. Before we discuss any technique, we must understand the foundation that makes everything else possible. Thermal mass. Because the difference between an Amish fireplace and your fireplace begins with what they are built from. Here is what most people do not understand about heat. Your modern fireplace is probably constructed from thin metal or a single layer of brick. It heats up quickly. It looks nice. And it loses heat almost as fast as it gains it. The moment the fire dies, the warmth begins disappearing. Within an hour, the fireplace is cold. Within 2 hours, it is as if no fire ever burned. Amish fireplaces are built completely differently. They use massive amounts of material: stone, brick, sometimes concrete or clay. The fireplace structure itself might weigh several thousand pounds. Some Amish masonry heaters weigh as much as 5 or 6 tons. This seems excessive until you understand the physics. Dense materials absorb heat slowly. They also release heat slowly. This is the thermal mass principle. When you burn a fire in a massive stone fireplace, most of that heat does not immediately enter the room. It soaks into the stone. It penetrates inch by inch into the dense material. The stone becomes a thermal battery, charging itself with every hour the fire burns. Then when the fire dies, something remarkable happens. The stone begins releasing its stored heat. Slowly, gradually, over many hours, the fireplace that took all evening to fully heat now radiates warmth until morning. The room stays comfortable long after the flames have vanished. Here are the numbers that matter. A typical metal fireplace insert might store heat for 30 to 60 minutes after the fire dies. A properly built masonry fireplace stores heat for 8 to 12 hours. Some Amish designs store heat for up to 24 hours from a single firing. This is why one log works. The Amish are not heating their home with the fire directly. They are charging a massive thermal battery with the fire, then letting that battery heat their home for hours afterward. The rule is foundational. Mass equals time. The heavier your fireplace, the longer it holds heat. The Amish build their fireplaces like fortresses because they understand that the fire is temporary, but the heat storage can last all night. Number 2, the firebox geometry. Now let us examine the fire itself, specifically the space where the fire burns, because the shape of this space determines how much heat reaches your home versus how much escapes up the chimney. Here is the problem with most American fireplaces. They are designed to look good. Wide openings so you can see the flames, deep fireboxes so you can burn large logs, vertical back walls because they are easy to construct. Every one of these design choices prioritizes appearance over function. The result is catastrophic inefficiency. A typical American fireplace operates at 10 to 15% efficiency. That means 85 to 90% of the heat you generate goes straight up the chimney. You are not heating your home. You are heating the sky. Amish fireplaces use completely different geometry. The firebox is shallower than you would expect. This keeps the fire closer to the room opening, where radiant heat can reach the living space. A deep firebox buries the fire inside the wall, where its heat cannot escape into the room. The back wall is angled, not vertical. It slopes forward as it rises, reflecting heat outward into the room instead of allowing it to rise straight up the chimney. This single design element can increase efficiency by 20 to 30%. The sidewalls are angled as well. They splay outward from back to front, creating a shape that directs heat into the room from multiple angles. The fire becomes a focused heat source rather than a diffuse one. The opening is smaller than modern fireplaces. This seems counterintuitive. We want to see the fire, but a smaller opening reduces the amount of room air that gets pulled into the fireplace and sent up the chimney. Every cubic foot of warm room air that escapes up the chimney must be replaced by cold outside air leaking into the house. The proportions follow specific ratios: the opening height to depth ratio, the opening width to firebox depth ratio, the chimney size to opening size ratio. These proportions were developed over centuries of refinement. They are not arbitrary. They represent the accumulated wisdom of generations who heated their homes with fire. The rule is geometric. Shape determines efficiency. An Amish firebox extracts 3 to 4 times more usable heat from the same fire because every angle serves a thermal purpose. Number 3. The chimney labyrinth. This is perhaps the most ingenious Amish innovation. The chimney labyrinth. Because the heat escaping up your chimney represents the single greatest waste in conventional fireplace design. Here is the physics that governs chimney heat loss. When wood burns, it produces combustion gases at temperatures between 1,000 and 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. These gases must exit the home through the chimney. In a conventional fireplace, they travel straight up and out, taking all their heat with them. You see this heat escaping as hot air shimmering above your chimney on cold days. The Amish capture this wasted heat through a brilliant modification. Instead of a straight vertical chimney, they construct a winding path. The hot gases must travel through a series of channels, rising and falling and rising again before finally exiting the home. Some designs include 5 or 6 direction changes. Some include horizontal runs of several feet. With each change of direction, the gases must contact more masonry surface. With each contact, heat transfers from the gas to the stone or brick. By the time the gases finally exit the chimney, they have surrendered most of their heat to the structure. This design is not Amish invention. It comes from European masonry heater traditions, particularly German and Scandinavian designs that the Amish ancestors brought to America. But the Amish have preserved and refined these designs, while the rest of America abandoned them for convenience. Here are the efficiency numbers. A conventional straight chimney allows gases to exit at 400 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. All that heat is lost. A labyrinth chimney allows gases to exit at 150 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference, sometimes 300 to 400 degrees worth of heat, is captured in the masonry and radiated into the home. This captured heat is not trivial. It can represent 30 to 40% of the total heat energy in the wood. Multiply this by every log burned over an entire winter, and the savings are enormous. The rule is thermodynamic. Never let heat leave your home if you can capture it first. The labyrinth chimney extracts heat that conventional fireplaces simply throw away. Number 4. The central placement strategy. Now we step back from the fireplace itself and examine where it sits in the home. Because the position of an Amish fireplace is never accidental. It is the result of careful planning that treats the entire house as a heat distribution system. Here is how most American homes position fireplaces: against an exterior wall. This is convenient for construction. The chimney rises along the outside of the house, requiring less interior space. The fireplace becomes a feature in one room, usually the living room. This positioning is thermally disastrous. An exterior wall is the coldest surface in your home. Placing your heat source against this wall means the fireplace structure loses heat to the outside constantly. The thermal mass that should store heat for your home instead leaks heat to the environment. Additionally, heat from a corner or wall placement cannot radiate in all directions. It reaches one room effectively. Adjacent rooms receive almost nothing. The heat cannot pass through walls to reach distant spaces. Amish homes position the fireplace at the center of the house. The massive masonry structure rises through the middle of the home, often passing through multiple floors. Every surface of this structure radiates heat inward into living spaces. No surface touches exterior walls. No heat is lost to the outside. This central placement creates natural heat distribution. Ground floor rooms surrounding the fireplace receive direct radiant heat. Second floor rooms receive heat from the chimney mass passing through them. The structure acts like a warm column in the center of the home, radiating heat outward in all directions. Air circulation patterns reinforce this distribution. Warm air rises from the fireplace area through stairwells and open floor plans. Cooler air near exterior walls sinks and flows toward the center, where it is warmed and rises again. The house develops a natural convective circulation that requires no fans or ductwork. The rule is architectural. Center your heat source. Every foot of distance between your fireplace and exterior walls is efficiency gained. Every room touching the fireplace mass is a room that stays warm. Number 5. The single fire technique. This secret contradicts everything most people believe about heating with wood. The Amish do not burn fires continuously. They burn one hot fire and let it die. And this approach is far more effective than the constant burning most Americans practice. Here is the conventional approach and why it fails. Most people who heat with wood try to maintain a continuous fire. They add logs regularly, keeping the flames going all day and all night. This seems logical. Fire equals heat. More fire equals more heat. Continuous fire equals continuous heat. But continuous fire creates continuous problems. When you burn wood at low temperatures to extend burn time, you create creosote. This tarry substance accumulates in your chimney, reducing efficiency and creating fire hazards. Low-temperature fires also burn incompletely, wasting fuel and producing more smoke. Continuous small fires never fully heat the masonry mass. The thermal battery never fully charges. You are always operating at partial capacity, burning more wood to achieve less result. The Amish approach is completely different. They build one large hot fire, typically in the evening. This fire burns intensely for 2 to 3 hours. The flames are vigorous. The temperature is high. Complete combustion occurs, minimizing creosote and maximizing heat extraction. During these 2 to 3 hours, the massive fireplace structure absorbs tremendous heat. The thermal battery charges fully. The stone or brick reaches optimal temperature throughout its mass. Then the fire dies, and the Amish do nothing. They do not add more wood. They do not try to extend the burn. They let the embers fade naturally, because now the fireplace takes over. The fully charged thermal mass begins releasing its stored heat. This release continues for 8 to 12 hours. In the morning, the house is still comfortable. The father adds one fresh log to the remaining embers. A brief hot fire recharges the system. The cycle repeats. The result is remarkable efficiency. 1 or 2 intense fires per day, using a fraction of the wood that continuous burning requires, producing better results. The rule is counterintuitive. Burn hot, then stop. One fully charged thermal mass outperforms continuous partial heating. Let the fire do its job quickly, then let the mass do its job slowly. Number 6. The wood selection science. The Amish understand that the wood you burn matters as much as how you burn it. Different species produce dramatically different results. Selecting the right wood is a science that most modern wood burners never learn. Here's the basic physics of wood as fuel. Wood heat is measured in BTUs per cord. A cord is a stack of wood measuring 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. Different species contain vastly different energy content per cord. Softwoods like pine and spruce produce approximately 15 to 18 million BTUs per cord. Hardwoods like oak and hickory produce 24 to 28 million BTUs per cord. That is nearly double the heat energy from the same volume of wood. But BTU content is only part of the equation. Burn rate matters equally. Softwoods burn fast and hot, producing a quick burst of heat that does not last. Hardwoods burn slowly, producing sustained heat over many hours. For the Amish system of charging thermal mass, slow sustained heat is far superior. Density determines burn duration. Oak has a density of approximately 47 pounds per cubic foot. Pine has a density of approximately 28 pounds per cubic foot. The denser wood simply contains more fuel per log, burning longer before it is consumed. Moisture content is critical. Freshly cut wood contains up to 50% water by weight. Burning this wood wastes enormous energy, evaporating that water. The steam produced cools the fire. Efficiency plummets. The Amish season their wood for at least 1 year. 2 years is better. Properly seasoned wood contains less than 20% moisture. It ignites easily, burns completely, and produces maximum heat. Specific species preferences emerge from this understanding. Oak is the gold standard. High BTU content, slow burn rate, excellent coaling properties that maintain embers for easy restarting. White oak and red oak are particularly prized. Hickory burns even hotter than oak and produces excellent coals. It is preferred when available but less common in some regions. Ash is valued for its ability to burn well even when not perfectly seasoned. This makes it useful for immediate needs. The Amish avoid certain species entirely. Pine and other softwoods are rejected for primary heating. Their fast burn and creosote production make them unsuitable for masonry heating systems. The rule is scientific. Know your fuel. 1 cord of properly seasoned oak produces more usable heat than 2 cords of green pine. Wood selection is not preference. It is physics. Number 7. The radiant heat principle. This secret explains why Amish homes feel different from homes heated with forced air systems. The Amish understand that radiant heat and convective heat are fundamentally different experiences, and radiant heat is far superior for human comfort. Here is the physics of heat transfer to humans. Convective heat warms the air around you. Forced air systems blow heated air into rooms. This warm air rises to the ceiling. Cold air sinks to the floor. Temperature stratification occurs. The room might average 70 degrees, but your feet are at 62 degrees, and the air above your head is at 78 degrees. Radiant heat works differently. It travels in straight lines from hot surfaces directly to cooler objects, including your body. It does not heat the air in between. It heats you directly, the way sunlight warms you on a cold day. Masonry fireplaces produce primarily radiant heat. The massive stone or brick surface, heated by the fire, emits infrared radiation in all directions. This radiation passes through the air without warming it and is absorbed by any solid object it strikes. Your body, the furniture, the walls, the floor. This creates a completely different comfort experience. In a radiantly heated room, the air temperature can be 65 degrees while you feel perfectly warm. Your body is receiving direct energy from the heated masonry surfaces. You are warm even though a thermometer would suggest otherwise. This translates directly to fuel savings. You do not need to heat the air to 70 or 72 degrees to feel comfortable. You can maintain lower air temperatures while radiant surfaces keep occupants warm. Lower air temperatures mean less heat loss through walls and windows. The Amish amplify this effect through surface area. A larger fireplace mass means more radiating surface. Some Amish designs include heated benches built into the fireplace structure. Family members sit directly on these warm surfaces, receiving conducted heat through contact, as well as radiant heat from surrounding surfaces. Floors are sometimes designed to be heated by the fireplace system. Warm floors radiate heat upward to occupants. This eliminates the cold feet problem that plagues forced air heating. The rule is physiological. Heat bodies, not air. Radiant warmth from thermal mass creates comfort at lower temperatures, saving fuel while improving the experience of warmth. Number 8. The airflow engineering. The fire needs oxygen to burn, but how that oxygen reaches the fire determines whether you are heating your home efficiently or wasting fuel and warmth. The Amish have engineered airflow systems that most modern fireplaces lack entirely. Here is the problem with conventional fireplaces. They draw combustion air from the room. The fire creates a draft up the chimney. This draft pulls air from the living space into the firebox. That air came from somewhere. Usually it came from outside, leaking in through cracks and gaps in the building envelope. Every cubic foot of warm room air that goes up your chimney is replaced by a cubic foot of cold outside air. You are not just losing the heat from the fire, you are losing the heat from your room. Some studies suggest that conventional fireplaces can actually make a house colder by accelerating this air exchange. Amish fireplace designs address this through dedicated combustion air supplies. A duct runs from outside the house directly to the firebox. The fire draws air from outdoors rather than from the living space. Room air stays in the room. The heat you generate stays in your home instead of being replaced by cold infiltration. The air supply is controllable. Dampers or adjustable openings allow regulation of airflow to the fire. More air creates a hotter, faster burn. Less air slows combustion and extends burn time. This control is essential for the single fire technique discussed earlier. Primary and secondary combustion become possible. Primary combustion burns the solid wood, releasing gases. These gases contain significant energy. In a conventional fireplace, they escape unburned up the chimney. Secondary combustion occurs when these gases are burned before escaping. Amish designs introduce additional air above the primary fire, igniting the combustion gases. This secondary burn extracts energy that would otherwise be wasted. The visual indicator of secondary combustion is a second flame zone above the main fire. When you see flames licking upward above the burning wood, gases are being combusted rather than escaping. The rule is engineering. Control your air. Dedicated combustion supply, adjustable flow, and secondary combustion can double the usable heat from the same wood. Number 9. The overnight ember management. This secret explains the scene I described at the beginning. How the Amish home stays warm overnight and restarts easily in the morning. It requires understanding how to manage embers, the glowing remnants of a fire. Here is why embers matter. A well-developed coal bed from properly burned hardwood can maintain temperatures above 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 hours. These embers continue transferring heat to the masonry mass long after visible flames have disappeared. They also provide ignition source for the morning fire. Managing embers is a skill the Amish develop from childhood. Before bed, the fire is allowed to burn down to a deep bed of coals. No new wood is added in the final hour. The goal is maximum coal development with minimum remaining flame. The air supply is reduced but not eliminated. Completely cutting off air will extinguish the coals, leaving full airflow will burn them out quickly. A reduced flow maintains the coal bed at optimal temperature through the night. Ash is managed carefully. A layer of ash over the coal bed insulates the embers, slowing their consumption, but too much ash smothers the coals. The Amish maintain approximately 1 to 2 inches of ash as an insulating blanket. The firebox is sized for overnight coal maintenance. Too large a firebox spreads coals thin where they cool quickly. Too small prevents adequate coal development. The proportions support an overnight coal bed of sufficient depth and concentration. Morning restart follows a specific protocol. The ash covering is gently pushed aside to expose live coals. If coals appear gray, gentle blowing or fanning confirms whether heat remains below the surface. Fine kindling is placed directly on the exposed coals, not beside them, on them. Direct contact with the heat source ensures ignition. Once kindling catches, slightly larger wood is added. The fire rebuilds progressively from the surviving coals. Within 15 to 20 minutes, a full fire is burning. The thermal mass, still warm from yesterday's heat, begins recharging. The home that stayed comfortable overnight grows warmer for the day ahead. The rule is continuity. Never let your coals die completely. Managed embers connect one fire to the next, maintaining warmth without starting from cold. Number 10. The home integration system. This final secret reveals why one fireplace can heat an entire Amish home. The fireplace does not work alone. The entire house is designed as an integrated heat distribution system. Here is how modern homes fail at heat distribution. A fireplace heats one room, the room it is in. Adjacent rooms might receive some warmth through doorways. Distant rooms receive nothing. Upstairs receives nothing unless hot air happens to drift up a stairway. The house has no system for moving heat from where it is generated to where it is needed. Amish homes are designed differently from the foundation up. The fireplace location determines the floor plan. Rooms are arranged around the central heat source like petals around the center of a flower. Every room shares a wall with the fireplace mass, or with a room that shares a wall with the fireplace mass. Open floor plans facilitate air movement. The Amish do not build homes with sealed rooms and long hallways. They build homes where warm air can circulate freely. A living space might flow into a kitchen which flows into a dining area. Warmth moves naturally through the connected spaces. Stairways are positioned for convective flow. The main stairway typically rises near the fireplace. Warm air naturally flows up the stairway, carrying heat to the second floor. This is not accidental. It is intentional thermal design. Second floor layouts continue the integration. Bedrooms open onto a central hallway that receives rising warm air from below. The chimney mass passes through this floor, providing direct radiant heat to upstairs rooms. Some Amish homes include heat channels in the floor structure. Spaces between floor joists are left open, allowing warm air from the first floor to rise into second floor rooms. The floor becomes a heating duct without any mechanical components. Ceiling heights are calibrated. Higher ceilings in main living areas allow warm air to stratify above head height without creating uncomfortable cold zones at floor level. Lower ceilings in bedrooms keep warm air closer to sleeping occupants. The building envelope supports the system. Amish homes are well insulated and tightly sealed. The heat that the fireplace generates stays in the home rather than leaking out through poor construction. This is essential. The best fireplace in the world cannot heat a home that loses warmth faster than it can be generated. The rule is holistic. Design the entire home around the heat source. When every element of construction supports heat distribution, one fireplace can warm every room. Let us return to where we began. The Amish farmhouse at 5 in the morning. January. The world frozen. The fire reduced to embers. Now you understand why that home is still comfortable. The massive thermal mass of the fireplace has been releasing stored heat all night. The central placement ensures that heat radiates inward to every room. The labyrinth chimney captured heat that a conventional fireplace would have wasted. The properly seasoned hardwood produced maximum BTUs with minimum wood consumption. The ember management protocols maintained warmth through the coldest hours. The home integration system distributed that warmth to every room without fans or ducts. The radiant heat principle kept bodies warm even as air temperatures moderated. And now, with one fresh log added to the surviving coals, the cycle begins again. This is not primitive living. This is sophisticated thermal engineering disguised as simple tradition. The Amish have preserved knowledge that we abandoned in our rush toward convenience. They heat entire homes with one log because they understand heat in ways that our thermostat dependency has made us forget. Tonight, you have received their secrets. You understand thermal mass and why heavy fireplaces outperform light ones. You know the firebox geometry that extracts maximum heat from every fire. You understand the chimney labyrinth that captures heat others waste. You know why central placement matters. You understand the single fire technique. You know the wood selection science and the radiant heat principle. You understand airflow engineering. You know ember management. And you see how the entire home can become a heat distribution system. This knowledge is not just historical curiosity. It is practical wisdom for an uncertain future. Energy costs rise, grids fail, supply chains break. The Amish continue heating their homes with one log at a time. If this exploration gave you something valuable, hit that subscribe button. Share this with anyone who heats with wood or wishes they could. Share this with anyone who wants independence from systems that fail. And now, one question for you. Have you experienced heating with wood? What worked? What did not? What would you do differently with this knowledge? Share your story in the comments below. Someone else might learn from your experience. Stay warm, stay curious, and I will see you in the next deep dive.